Hello. So I just had a coaching client who we were talking about his heart health. He's really worried about heart health and increased cardiovascular risk based on high cholesterol and high blood pressure. And we looked at his advanced lipid testing, and he does indeed have a few numbers that are put him in the higher risk category. The one that's the most concerning is what's called his LP-IR, and it's basically a lab value that looks at insulin resistance or poor insulin sensitivity, which is a really important factor for heart health. And it means that he doesn't have good metabolic health. And he watched the movie Forks Over Knives, and he's convinced that animal fat and animal protein are huge risk factors and that he shouldn't be eating them. So he's been eating a ton of beans and starchy foods, a lot of grains and beans, and a ton of fruit, which nothing wrong with any of those things inherently. But when your diet is so heavily based on carbs, as it is when you don't eat any animal protein, you have to be really careful about what happens to your metabolic health. And if you get to the point of having insulin resistance because you're eating so many carbs, even if you're not overweight, this is an important metabolic factor. So even when I was training for marathons and ultra marathons, I was eating a lot of dried fruit, a lot of starchy foods, and my blood sugars were higher than they should be. And it was really frustrating because I consider myself to be a really healthy person and really active, and I didn't want to have to give up some of those foods that I really like. So I told him this insulin resistance is the biggest factor for you right now. We've got to figure out how to reduce the starchy carbs in your diet. And so he's open now to eating some seafood, having salmon and mackerel and herring and some of the fish that are lower in mercury. He's open to that, but he was really convinced coming into the conversation that he should be, he made this 16 bean soup to have, and there's protein in beans, but you're also getting a lot of carbs, and if you're insulin resistant, that is not working for your metabolism. So just wanted to share that. If you're out there thinking that you should be staying away from all animal foods, you might want to really think about that and get the testing for your own body to see where you're at, because it's a very blanket approach, and I think we need to look at what does our DNA say, where are our ancestors from, what have we evolved eating. Are you going to tell an Inuit in Alaska that they should be plant-based, that they shouldn't eat any animal protein or animal fat? They live on whale blubber and whale meat. So it's not a fair statement to say that everyone should stay away from animal protein. We need to be looking at so many other factors. So anyway, I wanted to share that. I also have another client who she had a heart attack because, and part of her issue when you look at her labs is insulin resistance. She was eating the same way, a lot of bread, a lot of beans. So know your numbers. I can help you get those numbers. I can help you access the information, and then I can help you make changes in your lifestyle to help you optimize those numbers so that you are not one of the cardiac statistics.